තියෙනවා.
Okay, good evening. We will start. Hope you can see my screen, which is being shared, and listen to my voice. Somebody confirmed, then I can start straightforward.
Good evening, sir. We can see and
Okay, we have been practicing this one. That means the nested, what we call nested facts. So what we call the fact within a fact. Like these nested loops, in control structures in traditional programming languages we have. So this thing is very straightforward. We have done this during the last session, but just delete this and just copy this. So only one statement. Okay, has is not a keyword. It is a user defined function, what we call method. Okay, we have already done this, but let us remind our memory. So what's wrong with that? We can't select. It's okay. Okay, first of all, you need to compile that. What we call the program. This is the way you need to compile this. That means sorry. And so you can copy the file name. Copy just path name here. So just missed the what we call the punctuation mark. So true. We'll do it again. True. So I'm going to call this function as. Okay. So let's put use a variable and pet y z. Okay. We will change the letters, the name of the what we call the pet and which kind of a pet is and the name of the owner. Okay, owner, the pet type and the name of the pet. That's that means we could not close the brackets. Okay, one bracket closing by open bracket, closing bracket. That needs to be there. Okay. Owner is Sahan, pet is cat, and the name is Kitty. Okay. So this is the that we call the nested fact. So what we call so you can include more pet. For an example, you can develop these. Further develop these. So I will put this as a comment. Okay. Inside these pet cat. Okay. Okay. Cat plays. Okay. Plays with ball. Okay. That means what? Sahan has a cat. Sahan has a pet, which is a cat, and his name is Kitty. And the cat plays with the ball. We have opened how many brackets? 1, 2, 3. There should be 3 closing brackets. Okay, I will recompile this. Okay, true. Now I'm going to ask a question. Has let's say one of the pet and the pet type, we don't know it. Okay, if you want to there's something wrong with these, it should be place. The spellings are mistaken, but I will put that as it is. Place what? The toy. Okay, and the name of the cat, name of the pet. Okay. Okay, close bracket, close bracket, close bracket. You need to follow the same structure. Okay, owner is Sahan, pet is cat, and the toy is a ball which the cat plays with, and the name of the pet is cat. This is somewhat should be play. Okay, or you can write cat does. Okay, play with ball. Okay, same thing. Okay, or does cat will eat? Okay, eat what? Eat let's say fish, because these days fish will be disposed and cats will gain the benefit. Eat fish. So how we mistaken? Han pet cat does what he does, eat fish kitty. So how many brackets? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Something mistaken. Some information is missing. Name of the owner is there. Pet category cat is there. Does what it does. Eat eat what? Fish. Okay. Okay, no problem. We can remove the name of the cat. Okay. We try out with this one. So the structure that you can determine. Okay. Now you can ask the question: has the owner of the cat, the pet, that means which category of pet, P, and does what? Okay. It's you don't know the what it does. So D. Okay. You can ask what it does, the, and the other what called the what is eaten by. That means we don't know whether it eats or drinks. Then eats what? Okay, something. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Here are syntax. Some operator is missing there, I think. Is that does D eat fish? Have we mistaken? 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 4 closings here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try with something different. We put it here. Okay. Yeah, it does. It gives you the owner's name, but the pet type and what's eaten by the because what we have mistaken here, it's not, we cannot put the what we call the function. We cannot replace the function with the variable. Okay. Okay. You can ask how many questions based on the information. That means you can store complex facts. Okay. So we give up this. Can make this. Can save this. You can, but the thing is, you have to follow the same style of the same structure, so you can embed more information. Okay. So we'll go for the second example for this kind of composite information, or what we call the nested facts. Next example. This is about the what we call the coordinates of a straight line. The two coordinates of a straight line. Okay. So the vertical line, the vertical coordinates. Okay. That is having points x and y, and vertical coordinates means the x coordinates are the same. X coordinates are the same. Only the y is going to be a different value, y2. First, the first coordinate y x, that means it is the x coordinate. That means what we call the the 2 points are lying upon the a line which is parallel to the y-axis. Okay, that's why the x-coordinates are not being changed. That means the x-coordinates are fixed. Okay, only the y-coordinates are changing. That means there are 2 points. You can draw a straight line connecting these 2 points. Once you connect them, so the line will be parallel to the y-axis of the coordinate system. Therefore, the x value remains as it is, while the y value will be changed, the bottom value and the up value. So that means this is a vertical line. Okay. So this is a vertical line which is parallel to the y-axis. That's why the x value remains unchanged. Only y value gets changed. Y at the time and y2 it's so if I can draw it using a PowerPoint, so something like this. Insert, we can insert shapes. Okay. First of all, I will draw the axis. Okay. Insert shapes. So this is the y-axis. Assume it's what we call assume it's perfectly vertical. Okay, and this is the x-axis. Okay, so this is the y-axis, y, and this is the x-axis. Okay, and here we draw another line. This is fundamental geometry. Okay, you draw a line. Okay, here some line. Okay, so we can keep it as it is the color. So what are these coordinates? So say this value at this point, some x1. Okay, so the x value at this point is x1 and y value is 0. Okay, y value is 0. Okay, this particular coordinate, and here x1 remains as it is. Okay, x1 remains as it is, and here you get you to take this is y1. Okay, because x1 is the same along the straight line. Here you can have x1 remains as it is, here different y. Okay, this is the what we call the behavior, or the what we call the coordinate values. These are the coordinate values for corresponding for a straight line which can be drawn perfectly parallel to the y-axis. So the x value remains as it is, and while the y value is getting changed. So that's the logic we have written here. Y values are getting changed, while x value remains as it is. So same accordingly you can define a horizontal value. Okay, here what is happening here, you consider this one. So this is x0, something we call y3. Okay. So this along the y-axis y3. Okay. So these ends, or two ends of the what we call the things. This is y3 remains as it is. So here x2. Okay. And here also y value remains as it is, y3, and here x becomes x3. Y will be there as it is, and x value is going to be changed. Okay. So we can apply the same theory here. So this is vertical line, and this is a horizontal line. Okay. We can call that, we can compile and call that, I think you don't need to save this. Okay, you can close this. Okay, now we have to close this and recompile this. I'm using the same program. Okay, with warnings, it will get compiled. So now what I can do is I can test this program. So if I know certain points, okay, so and certain points are unknown, that means we need to find the unknown points. In that case, you can use this function. For an example, I have given here, you know 3 values, okay, and you need to figure out, you need to find the unknown value, unknown x value. Okay, so so here's the program. Okay, now I'm going to call this function vertical. Okay, we can use the term line. Okay, point. Now you can assign some value. It's okay. Let's say 5. Y value is 10. Point again. So here we don't know this value exactly. You need to figure out that. And y2 value. If it is a vertical line, then what? Y value is getting changed. Then let's say y value is 15 or 20. So here x is a variable. Okay. We need to close this. And another bracket. Okay. X equals 5. Because the fact is given us that x value will not change along a vertical line. Okay. So similarly, you can test these horizontal line point. Here you are going to find the y value. Okay. Here you can give some, you know the x value, and you are going to find the y value here. Point x value, you know these as 20, because the x value is getting changed, and the y value of the other point is let's say 10. Then what? So we missed 2 brackets. Y equals 10. That means it's measuring with this value, the known value. Okay, because the rule says what the fact says, no, not the rule. In a horizontal line, the line is the 2 points. Once you can see the 2 points lying upon a horizontal line, y coordinates will not change. Y coordinates will be the same. So the program is that means the program is capable of finding that point. Okay, so these are some strategies. So what we call the nested functions that you can store important. That means, for an example, earlier you have stored what kind of knowledge regarding that means it's kind of object-oriented program. It's not the same. That means you can store much data. That means within the same fact. The fact can be complicated. Okay, but that will it will still better than what we call defining several facts. Okay, and the geographical relationships or geometrical relationships you can also store, or that means geometrical relationships. That means when you are describing the shapes, the formula, or the what we'll call the relationship between the coordinates that you can represent. Okay, so depending the application, you need to determine the appropriate what we call the data structure, or not the data structure, the style that you need to follow. Okay, so these are some classic examples. So I will delete this. Okay, and I think that's another. We will go for another what we'll call example. Okay, so far we had used only two arguments. Here's an what we call example with 3. You can define any number of arguments. Okay, now I'm going to copy and paste this. So this program is written by myself. Okay, so we'll keep these for a while. Okay, I have defined four facts. Let's say, is that all in our exercise? No, we have some other examples. Okay. Okay, I have defined 4 facts. That means salary, Nimal Pereira. That means the first name of the person is Nimal. The second name of the person is Pereira. And his salary is 44,500. That means 44.5K. Okay, something like that. Okay, just for the convention. You can just use the actual figures if you like. Okay. So this is in thousands. Okay, first fact. Second fact, salary, Amal, a different person, Amal Pereira, but they used to share, these two people used to share their surname. But they can be brothers or siblings, or what we call twin brothers. So maybe the father and son, anyhow, or maybe totally different people, two peoples, individuals. They used to share the same family name or the surname, and their salary is also different. Then I introduce another fact, another Nimal. This time he is having a surname, the surname Silva, who is getting 55,500. Okay, and another person I introduced with the same surname, this time Sunil. He is getting a different salary scale. So I will declare a function, user-defined function, get salary, and the parameter. So this, you can start the what we call the initial letter is in uppercase, that means this entire term acts as a variable. Okay, acts as a variable. Okay. Since this is kind of a user-defined function, so these are not only ordinary variables, these are the arguments. Okay, but you can here they act as a variable. F name is a variable. Time to time, the values assigned to it will be changed. L name, last name will be another variable, and you can observe that salary is starting. The starting letter is in uppercase, so capital letter. So here I print some formatted output, the F name, and I use a tab here. That is to get separate, to generate a white space, and format writing what is being written, the L name. Okay, what is being written, that means the string that we need to put, custom user defined string, that is matching to the L name. And we have another variable, this thing. Okay, 2f, f, the 2f means the accuracy, the expected accuracy we need to display. F means a floating point or real number, so that will be matched with this particular cell variable. So this particular what we call the function is written to fetch the or map, search and match the first name of the person, then the last name of the person, and the salary of a person. That means if you specify the first name and the last name, the function should specify you find the corresponding salary value that he is earning. Okay. Okay. We will compile. Okay, true. Even without warnings, that could compile. Now we are going to call this function get salary. Okay. That means you can use this Prolog as a kind of a database search or query. F name, this time I will ask Nimal Silva. Okay. Nimal Silva has a salary of 55.50. 50, this 50 is coming because we are expecting up to 2 decimal points, that is given by this, specified by this particular specification, or the what we call the specific option reference. So of course you can ask so many questions. Now I can ask Nimal Pereira, then that will be given true, and there's a white space and blinking cursor, so we'll try false. That means only one matching value. Another attempt we can test. We try to fetch all the Nimals, whichever the surname is. Okay, whichever the surname is. If you want, you can display the surnames. Okay, Nimal Pereira has a salary. That means we found one Nimal who is a Pereira, has a salary of this amount, true, and there's a blinking cursor. You can continue and searching for the, seeking for the, if there are any other matching responses for the solutions, so you can put press the semicolon. Okay, Nimal Silva has a salary of this much. That means what? There are two Nimals having different surnames. You can the two individuals are having two what we call here this time we will swap the variable, so the underscore, that means with regardless of the matching value, we are checking whether there is an existing or matching record. Here we will try for the Silvas. Okay, Okay, Nima Silva has this much. Sunil Silva has this much. That means what? There are two Silvas, whoever the first name is, and they are earning this much. Okay, that means you can do some kind of a database query. So you can use the Prolog as kind of a database and you can use the Prolog itself as a query language if you like. So this is just a very fundamental explaining about the capacities or the abilities of the Prolog compiler or the programming environment. So there are so many features, fascinating features. Or you can just list down all the matching thing. Let's say, yeah, all the matching, all the data you can fetch. That this means select all or something. Okay, Nimal Pereira, Amal Pereira, Nimal Silva, Sunil Silva. There are 4 records. Okay, so you can develop develop another different function that once you given the salary, you can compare the salary with of a person, and you can detect the what we call the corresponding or the names of the people. So think about that, expanding this to scenario. Once the salary is given, then you have to figure out the matching person. So think about developing that one. Okay, it's up to you. Okay, and here we give me 2 minutes. My throat is getting dried and it's hot. I need to turn on the fan. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. We will continue, and another example that I can explain you. So this will implement the what we'll call the branching, or you have practiced this similar kind of thing with other languages. So these the switch case like statements try to match to a specific case. So this is somewhat like the switch case statements. Okay. So I have written a program. Okay. So grade 5, that means case 5. Case 5, when the input parameter, what we call the argument, equals to 5, right? So classify that as a preschool student. And if the student's grade is 6, then we can classify that as grade 1. Accordingly, you can write all the cases here. You can list out. Okay. And for this is for the what we'll call the cases not matching with this the specific number. Say you have given 9 or you have given 3. So then which action need to be taken by the program. Okay. So grade other means you can see the start with capital O. That means this will act as a variable. Okay. Instead of other, you can put capital A or something to denote the alternative solutions or something. Okay. Other means grade. Other means if the input parameter, input value is other than 5 or 6, or the out of the specifically defined range, or what we call the specific cases, then what? Then if grade is other than, say other means this variable, if something is less than 5, sorry, so we have to say it is 9, then grade 5. So this must be the age or something. Okay, this must be the age. So age 5 means preschool, age 6 means grade 1. So you need to find the grade according to the age of the child. Okay, so then you want to specify, say it's 9. 9 means 9 minus 5 means 4, grade 4. That is what you need to display. Okay, so we'll compile this. Okay, grade, find the grade. If it is 5, preschool, true. Grade 0, true. Okay, if it is grade, grade, find the grade if the age of the child is 6, then he is a grade 1 student. Okay, and grade, sorry, grade, say it's 9 years old, also 10 years old child, then what's the grade? Grade 5. That means 10 minus 5. If the age of the child is 10, then 10 minus 5 means what? 5. If you don't understand this, let's say it is 16 years old child. It's not a child, then it's a teenager. Okay, then grade 11. Okay, that means 16 minus 5. That means you can do arithmetic operations, calculations inside within the Prolog. Okay, I think you get an idea. So what is happening here? Grade 1 and grade 0 here. That means it tries to jump to this what we call the default operation, or what we call the other structure, and try to match some what we call values with that. It means you can see 0 means what? 5 minus 5. Here 1 means what? 5 minus 6 minus 1. 6 minus 5. Okay. So these are some examples. And so we will what's this actually? Lab sheet 4. So I have emailed all the 10 lab sheets to you. You are now the fourth example, a question given to the Southeastern University students to implement. The answer is also enclosed here. So consider the decision-making situations defined by the following rules. If I go to university and attend lectures, then I will learn something. Okay. First rule. The first factor need to be converted into the prologue clauses. Then if I go to the university and not attend lectures, then I will miss the lessons. If I attend lectures and study hard, then I will pass the exam. If I learn something, then I will be knowledgeable. So like that, you can provide story like things. So for the ease of, originally this was a kind of let's say it was a paragraph, okay, extracted from a online resource. Then I have, for the ease of understanding or the ease of analysis, I have broken that into point form. Okay. Then you need to convert this which is written in plain English to prologue clauses. You need to convert this into prologue rules specifically. Okay. Then follow the rules for the following situations. That means you need to check out the satisfaction or the conditional situation for these scenarios once you implement this story into a using prologue clauses. Okay. Now I have done that. Mouse is very cheap mouse I'm using. My Apple mouse got malfunctioning, so sometimes that does some crazy things. So okay, the same story I have implemented here using prologue clauses. Okay, here the different things, one significant difference in this program, rules appear first. Rules appear first, and then facts will be mentioned at the later part of the program. Okay, rules appear first. Rules appear first. So these are the prologue rules. If you learn something, okay, if you want to learn something, then you have to go to university as well as you need to attend the lectures. It is not enough that you go to the university and stay in the canteen or the gymnasium or anywhere. This means the AND operator. If you go to university and attend lectures, then only you can learn something. Okay, I have implemented that the English term. So these are the actual things. Okay, once you do requirement gathering, so your clients will tell these requirements in even a worst format, even following a worst format. That means they just tell the stories. You need to write down their requirements, and you need to carefully analyze. Once you analyze, then you will break down their paragraph, they are storing in and try to represent using this kind of simplified or classified format. That means in point form. Then only you can convert these kind of information or knowledge. You can represent them using any appropriate KR technique, what we call the knowledge representation technique. So this is one of them, one of the best practical way of doing that. So if I go to university, if anybody go to university and attend lectures, then I will learn something. So this is the way I have written that using prologue. If you go to university and attend lectures, you learn something. Okay. Accordingly, you can convert all the knowledge, all the statements into prologue clauses. So you can go through one by each by each. So we don't have much time, so we need to complete everything within a very limited time. So if I go to university and not attend lectures, then I will miss some lectures. That means the negation. That means the opposite, or the what we'll call the counter argument. Okay. then you go to university, attend lectures. You can use the same same what we call same method or same function that you have defined before, and you can you can set the truthness, or what we call the Boolean value. So for example, this is kind of a Boolean flag or Boolean variable. You can make it as false. You can set as false. Then what is the result or the outcome? If you go to university but you cut the lectures, you stay there in the canteen, okay? Then what will happen? You will miss lectures. Then you can infer that if you miss lectures, what? This will also fail, but we will see some relationship, because once your client tells you the story, sometimes he will miss some points. It is our duty to develop a program such that that program can catch such missing points. So see some previously unseen dependencies, so what we call the relationships, okay? So then he again says, if I attend lectures and study hard, then I will pass the exam, okay? Attend lectures and study hard, then pass exams. If I learn something related to the first fact, see, it's somewhat shuffled, mixed up. So this is the same manner how the clients are explaining you the things. They tell you whenever that comes to their mind, that their memory is awakened. Okay, so you need to arrange the things carefully. Okay, you need to sort. So if I learn something, that means this is something related to the first fact. If I learn something, then I will be knowledgeable. So be knowledgeable. If you learn something, so this is the same function you have stated here in the first rule. So these are the rules, okay? Then accordingly you can complete all the that means if I miss a lesson, what will happen? Then I can't complete my assignments. That means complete assignment will become false. If miss lecturing, true. That means if you attend lectures, this will become so true. Or you can use the same function, attend lectures, false, instead of missing lectures, if you like. That means you have already declared this attend lectures. You miss lectures means what? Here you can't do, because miss lectures means you need to satisfy two conditions. You go to university and you don't attend lectures. That means miss lecture is not the same as this one. So missed lectures means, that means you have satisfied, missed lectures true means what? You have satisfied both conditions. You have gone to the university, but you haven't attended the lectures. Then what will happen? You will be not able to complete the assignments. Okay, just a story. Okay, still you will be able to your lectures, although you don't attend this, you can copy them. So you will know what you are doing. Okay, and like accordingly, if you want to be a graduate, you need to pass the exams. So if you want to earn money, then you can be an IT professional, and you have to work hard. And if you want to go a trip, then you need to earn money. Then if you want to earn money, you can become IT professional, and it is not enough. You need to work hard, honestly. So if you want to be happy, so you can go a trip, or remember this one. This is so this comma means and. So this is the O. If you want to be happy, you can go a trip or be a graduate. So this is just a kind of a what we call a story. Okay. So okay, these are the relationships. So what we call the interdependencies. These are the conditions that you need to satisfy or need to check when you are checking, when you are searching for something. These are the filtering, or these are the conditions that you need to check. Okay, something in ordinary language, if something open bracket, if then within that you check something, whether something is matching to that one, equals, unequals, greater than, less than, something like that. Okay, So now only you give the facts, you provide the facts. Go to university, true means this particular person that you are evaluating, that particular person has gone to the university. Okay. He has attended lectures as well. And he is a hardworking person. And he has become an IT professional. And he's a hardworking person. And he while he was a student, he did hard working. Now these are the facts provided. Now we can check the rules. Okay. So you can come file. Okay, first of all, I will check whether this person is a happy person. Happy. I want to figure out the truth value. I don't know. T means it's a variable. Okay, I don't know exactly this person is happy or not. What's wrong with that? Happy. What happened? Shall we try another? Go trip. This became capital, no? Then let's say X error. Something wrong with that. I am doing some mistake. It should work, me. Could we save this? Open with Prolog. So it's okay. We will check the facts first. Go to uni x 2, okay, and learn some x 2. He learned something, okay. His lectures false. He didn't miss any lectures because he has attended. So what is the condition to satisfy? In order to miss the lectures, go to university and does not attend any lectures. Then pass exams. Truth value true. He has passed the exams. So what are the conditions need to pass the exams? He has attended the lectures and he has worked hard. That means work hard is given here. Okay, attend lectures is given here, whether he did it or not. Then be knowledgeable. Let's check the truth value 2. Yes, he is a knowledgeable person because he has learned something. Then I directly go for the graduate. Graduate, am I correct? The truth value we need to test. True, he is a graduate. Fine. Then whether he earns money. True, yes, he's a money earner. Then he can go a trip. Go trip means he is eligible to go a trip. That means what is the eligibility requirement? He need to have enough money. True. Okay, he can go a trip. Then whether he can be happy. Mistaken. Happy. True. Okay. Because there's kind of an internal uh, mapping. That means the T has been shared between some other arguments. Therefore, X means true, true, always true. That means there are two situations that he can be happy. What has happened earlier, this T was assigned to some other scenarios. That means for some other context. So the truth value, the true was assigned to some other scenarios. Okay. This time happy X, that means whether this person is happy. Yes, due to two reasons, this person become happy. One reason is he can go a trip, and he is a graduate. Because of these two facts, he can be a happy person. So that's why two true values for this case. Okay, I think you got an idea, and that's all for today. And hope you enjoyed the demonstration, and let me know the status whether everything went okay. You can follow these lectures. Okay, so there's another exercise, like second example also, how to convert the what we call the knowledge told in plain English into what, into prologue clauses. That means how to do this knowledge mapping. Okay, so that means you will be a knowledge engineer someday. That means you need to you need to consult the human expert and extract the knowledge. That means you need to interview him, and you can write down what he has told, or but then you need to map this into, convert them into prologue clauses. So you need to convert the knowledge gained through him, and you need to represent the knowledge using whatever the appropriate technique. Okay, so I think you got an idea. I am just laying the foundation. Okay, I'm just showing you some random features, random good features of this prologue programming language. Of course, you can use it as a kind of a database programming language if you like, and as a query language, and you can implement NLP, natural language processing. You can do arithmetics. You can use as a KR, knowledge representation technique. So you see, so it's kind of a tool or artifact that has multiple aspects, so multiple advantages. Of course, you can do comparisons. You can create, you can build an entirely kind of a comprehensive uh, expert system with NLP features, if you like. So that will be your, once you learn these, how the formatting is done, how the query answering and query matching, so how these how to use these variables and other things, and how to define user defined, how to declare user defined what we call function or something. Once you learn these things, I am gradually taking you to the final objective, what we'll call the grand objective, that is to implement kind of a simple expert system. Okay, of course you can integrate this with MATLAB or any other programming language interfaces created by any other language, and you can develop kind of an attractive or very user friendly interface, and you can make it a comprehensive or complete what we call expert system. Even you can sell it if you like. Okay, but I am just teaching you the fundamentals. That is what we do, the university teachers. We just let you know, show you the path. It's up to you to improve yourself. Do further reference, and there are so many online resources, and you can continue what we call learning. So hope you have enjoyed today's lecture, and tomorrow we will have the what we call the theory session for the intelligent systems. We will try to finalize, so what we call the conclude the lecture series, by taking another, what means additional 5, 10 or 15 minutes tomorrow. We will try to finish everything, the theory. Then we can allocate the same time to complete the practical component as well. Okay, that means you can. I have provided you adequate guidelines in a way that such that you can just follow the tutorials. I have given the practical lab sheets. I have originally developed them for the Southeast University. You can follow them because you know how to just a matter of copying and pasting and just execute different queries using different styles. And I have given the screenshots even of how to run the queries, even how to raise the questions. So you can do kind of a self-study, but we will try to cover up that with my guidance and assistance within another few days. So that is the future plan, and we will meet by tomorrow by the same time. So I assume you didn't encounter major technical problems, and was everything okay? So the traditional question.
Everything is okay, sir.
Okay. Thanks for your response, and good night. And we will meet by tomorrow evening. Thanks for your